What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be ranking all of our best cards right now in College Football Ultimate Team 25. Now, what does this entail? It entails every card that is rated an 89 overall or higher. Now, there are some really good 88 overalls. I'm not trying to sit here and hate on them, but for me to include all of the 89 or 88 overalls, it wasn't realistic. We have way too many cards. And again, I wanted to pick and choose some of the 88s, but it's like, to find a cutoff point was super hard. So maybe I'll have to do a separate video specifically on the budget-ish cards or cheaper options. But I want you guys to know and realize who some of the best cards in the game are. Now, a lot of these cards are good. But again, when we're talking about the best cards in the game, they might not be great. Barnett, he's a good quarterback, but I feel like there's only one quarterback that's above the rest right now. And I'll get to that guy here in a second, but the rest of the quarterbacks are fine. If you're running Barnett, he's a really good quarterback, but he's not the best quarterback in the game. And because of that, I can't put him any higher C tier, but he's not bad. This guy is fantastic. Arakbo is just an absolute beast. I'm going to put him at A tier when it comes down to the best defensive lineman in the entire game. He's definitely up there. He's definitely a card that I'm looking to pick up to help my squad out. Arakbo is just an absolute beast. Gets after the quarterback with the best of them, can play the run as well. Just an overall really, really solid left end in the game. Basante, I don't know. He's such a weird outside linebacker. And when I say that, I'm not hating on the card, but he's just weird. He has a great pass coverage, but his run play is horrible, nearly unplayable. Genuinely, I would look at playing him at the slot corner position. I know it's weird to even say that or think about doing that, but that is where I think Basante is going to be at his best, is that slot corner type of position. Just because I feel like his block shed's horrible, he doesn't get after the quarterback at all, but his zone coverage, his speed, all of those things are absolutely elite. So I'm going to put him actually at C tier, but you got to know how to use the card. Braxton Miller, S tier, the best card in College Football Ultimate Team right now. I don't know how else to say it, how else to phrase it. Braxton Miller is that man. Throws the ball as good as anybody. He's got 89 speed. He is just so good. Literally so good on this game. S tier. Might be the only card I put at S tier. Luther Burden at this stage, C tier. We just have so many good wide receivers. Burden, for his time, was so good. Just at this stage, he's not necessarily game-breaking good anymore. He's still good. He drops open passes sometimes. There's just things that Burden does that does make me mad. So I'm going to put him at C tier. I don't hate the card, but there are better wide receivers in the game. CJ Spiller is going A tier. He is a top 2 running back in the entire game. I have just as much success with CJ Spiller as nearly anybody else in the game. If you don't run CJ Spiller and you do want to run a really good squad, I'm just curious to why you're not running CJ Spiller. So let me know down below in the comments if you're not running CJ Spiller. What's the reasoning for that? Why? Because I absolutely love what CJ Spiller gives me on the field. As far as offensive lineman, Cooper's fine. He's going to go D tier though. There's nothing crazy about him. He's just an offensive lineman in the game. And I feel like you're going to see that quite a bit with some of my offensive linemen. They're just okay. They're the last position I'd upgrade. Mari Cooper, I honestly think he's better than Luther Burden. Side by side, you guys can maybe argue against that, but that's kind of my personal opinion. I've used both. I've had more success with Amari Cooper than Luther Burden. Not going to include the free cards either. So again, if you are one where you grinded for the free homecoming cards, I'm sorry. I'm not going to include them on this list either. Although, obviously, some of those cards are really good and definitely cards that you can run and have success with. Dylan Gabriel, he's a lefty. And because of that, I can't put him any higher. C tier. I mean, again, a lot of these quarterbacks are good, but they're not even close to what Braxton Miller gives you. So if you're paying for Dylan Gabriel, I'm sorry, because there's really no in between. You run a cheap quarterback or you run Braxton Miller. Anything, in that middle range, it just does not make sense. D'Angelo Hall, I'm going to throw him at D tier. He's just undersized. There are better corners in the game that are, lower overalls. Like Darian Porter is better than D'Angelo Hall. I've used him. Didn't really have too much success with him. Somebody did comment on one of my videos, Ty, D'Angelo Hall is not good. Stop telling people he's okay. You're kind of right. D'Angelo Hall, not great in this game. Deshaun Jackson's going to be the only other player that joins Braxton Miller in S tier. Look, here's the situation. Deshaun Jackson's not out yet, but when he becomes available next week, he is going to be the real deal. I mean, there's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is going to be the real deal in College Football Ultimate Team. Next up, Dolak. At the middle linebacker position, he's a beast. I wish he was maybe a little bit taller, only 6 feet tall. but he's going to play really, really well because of that speed primarily. His speed is the best attribute for Dolak. Don't necessarily love the price he's going for, but again, the card is absolutely incredible. D'Anthony Thomas, good, not great, A tier. Is he better than CJ Spiller? Maybe slightly. He's got better speed, but when it comes down to who do I like more, I don't know. Genuinely don't know. I spent a ton of coins on D'Anthony Thomas. He's good, but again, the difference between him and CJ Spiller really is nothing crazy. If you're going to spend up on a card, it better be Braxton Miller and not D'Anthony Thomas. Ed Reed up next, an absolute beast, especially for the price he's going for. Ed Reed isn't even super expensive at this stage of college football Ultimate Team, especially after this most recent Legends drop. His price went down quite a bit. And again, another card, like, if you're not running Ed Reed, I want to know why. Like, if you want the best team in the game and aren't running Ed Reed, I want to know why, because he is an absolute beast. Hawkize, I'll throw him at C tier, I guess. He's an offensive lineman. He's better than Cooper, and he's not super expensive. So for his price, I like Hawkize. Just don't know about how truly great he is. Garnes, I actually am running Aiden Garnes. I don't really know why. I'm kind of trying to get rid of him and sell him. The card's been good for me, especially in man coverage. Aiden Garnes is an absolute beast. I'm trying to get corners that can both play man and zone, just because I probably play more zone, but I feel like the man coverage is the one that really gets you, right? If you have a corner with bad man coverage, they can get absolutely cooked. Geno Smith, I throw him at C tier. The problem with Geno Smith is he does not throw a tight spiral. And some people can say, oh, Ty, like, you're picking it. No way. Like, trust me, that matters so much on this game if a quarterback throws a tight spiral or not. And I use Geno Smith. I don't hate the card by any means, but when you're comparing him to some of the other better quarterbacks in the entire game, you just simply can't. Like, you just simply cannot compare, like, a Geno Smith to a guy like Braxton Miller. You can compare him to some of these other quarterbacks in the game, though. Next up, we got the Big D lineman from Oregon, and he's actually a beast. Now, he's A tier. Is he worth the price? No. And I'm not, that's not me saying he's bad. That's not me saying anything crazy, but he is just simply not worth the price that he is going for right now in college football Ultimate Team. He is like 1 million coins, and he's good, but he's not worth that price. Trey Harris, I throw him at B tier. He's good. Not worth the coins once again. An LTD, he is really, really solid. Definitely better than Burden. He's better than Amari Cooper. Not worth the price ultimately. Height up next. I don't know why people hate on Romello Height. I don't. I get that he doesn't play the run great. His block shed's not, the best in the game. But his acceleration's fantastic. He's going to get after the quarterback. I like Romello Height. A lot of people, want to sit there and talk about the negative side of the card. But I personally like Romello Height. I've had a decent amount of success with the card. Next up, Herman Moore. I like Herman Moore more than Burden. I like him more than Amari Cooper. I'm going to probably throw him at B tier. I don't know, though. Is he... maybe C tier. I just don't know, compared to Amari Cooper, how much better a guy like Herman Moore is. Plus, he is just way overpriced. I don't know, man. I'm going to throw him at B tier, but you're really splitting hairs at this stage. Jonathan Jefferson, he's better than these cards, but I wish his speed was higher. Like, I'm going to put Jonathan Jefferson at A tier at the wide receiver. He's better than Herman Moore. He's better than some of these other guys. But I do wish Jonathan Jefferson had better speed. The 89 speed on that card is pretty troll. Joe Burrow, better than a lot of these cards. He's going to throw the ball fantastic. They did upgrade the speed to an 82, which is better than it initially was. But Joe Burrow does not compare to Braxton Miller. He doesn't. I do think he's better than Geno. I think he's probably better than Barnett. I'm going to throw him at C tier, though. I just think he's way overpriced for how good the card is. Quinshawn Judkins, still one of the best running backs in the game. I don't think he's as good as D'Anthony Thomas. I don't think he's as good as CJ Spiller. I do, however, think he is a B tier running back in the game. Really solid option for you guys at that running back position. Kite up next at the left tackle position. I mean, what do you want me to sit up here and say? Throw him at D tier. He's fine, but he's just okay. Next up, KJ Jefferson. When he first came out, I was really infatuated by the card. I think he is a really, really good quarterback. Do think he's better than Joe Burrow as well. So I'm going to give KJ B tier, but he's like 200,000 coins. And as much as I like KJ Jefferson in this game, his 84 speed is okay, but it's not great. And again, I feel like for everybody, you're comparing him now to Braxton Miller, and you just really can't. Lacey up next. Lacey's a beast. He's got great stats. His spin move, juke move animations are fantastic. Lacey is a B tier wide receiver in this game. Probably not as, you know what? I'm putting him at A tier. He's free, so I'm going to have free card bias. And if you're not running Colin Lacey and you got him, Why? The card's a beast. When I run Colin Lacey, he does so many things at an elite level for me. I love Mr. Colin Lacey in this game. Megwood, another beast, man. He is another beast. I'm throwing him at A tier, and maybe it's because of the homecoming boost. I don't know, but Megwood is Mr. Always Open. He is undersized. I get that part of it, but Megwood is a beast in this game. I don't like how I do this, though. Like, I don't like how these wide receivers are all the way down here at C tier. So, guess I'll move Cooper and Burden just up 1 tier. And I like this a little bit more. Maybe Trey Harris at A tier. I'll throw Trey Harris up here, although I don't like the card for a specific price. Makai up next. This card's a beast, man. Definitely not worth the amount of coins he's going for, but he's an absolute stud in the game. B tier is ultimately where he belongs. Overton. When I look at Overton, I'm looking at a card that I don't see it with. D tier is where I'm at with Overton. I just don't see what this card really provides at such an elite level. And he's an 89 overall. Don't ask me how. Panzer up next. I'll throw him a C tier. I mean, he's fine. These guys are beasts of centers. We should have so many good centers at this stage that it's just hard for me to gas them at that next level of or next tier. James Pierce Jr. As much as I want to throw him at S tier, he's not. When you're talking about the best players in the game, he's at the top of A tier, but he's not Braxton Miller level. He's not Deshaun Jackson level. He's just not. Because when you talk about impact, he does not have the impact on a game that Braxton Miller or Deshaun Jackson does. He does. James Pierce Jr. is a beast, though. If you get him in Gauntlet, you obviously probably should sell him, honestly, because of the price he's going for. But he is that man in college football Ultimate Team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. You're not going to get too many better players than James Pierce Jr. Preston Wilson, I'm going to go D tier. Another card that's just like, whatever, an offensive lineman in the game. Reggie Wayne, he's a beast. I think A tier is where he belongs. Only 6 feet tall, but I haven't actually used the card. 90 speed, does a lot of things, I think, for you guys on the field. I'm going to throw him at A tier. Quincy Riley, the best corner in the game right now. He is an A tier corner. The best corner in the game. You guys don't have to necessarily agree with me or believe me, but that's what I see when I look at Quincy Riley. Rod Woodson at this stage, good, not great. I'll go C tier. Again, another card you can use. You can have some success with him, but I just don't think he's that next tier of good at this stage. Ryan Williams, an absolute beast, probably your best wide receiver in the game. Now, I will say this. I started Deshaun Jackson, obviously. I will say this about Ryan Williams. His spin move and juke move is troll, man. He's got to get a better spin, got to get a better juke. Otherwise, I just don't know really what's going on with him. But he runs by everybody with the insane speed, insane acceleration. He is Mr. Go Route, is Ryan Williams. Savion Williams, he was really good for his time, but at this stage, I'm going to go C tier. First wide receiver that doesn't quite make B tier. And you guys can say I'm hating on Savion Williams. That's just where I'm at with him. Mason Shipley, I'm going to go F tier. He's a kicker, man. If you want me to gas a kicker, I don't know, go watch somebody else, because I am not going to sit up here in front of you guys and gas a kicker in college football Ultimate Team. It's just not going to happen. So if you want me to, I'm sorry. It's just, it's not something that I'm willing to do here, is to gas a kicker. So again, it's a kicker in the game. Use whoever you want to use at the kicker position and do what you got to do. Josiah Stewart up next. Another card that like it is what it is. He can play, but when we're talking and looking at like the best cards in the game, he's fine. D tier. He's not a card that I, look at and like, yeah, he's a guy definitely you should get at the defensive lineman position. No, I like other defensive linemen just as much, if not more, than Josiah Stewart. Jalen Stroman's a beast, man. He is an absolute beast. I'm throwing him at A tier. One of the best strong safeties in the entire game. Now, I will say this. You play a lot of zone coverage, I'd pick up the 88 Homecoming Brooks. He is a card that I have had a lot of success with, but Stroman is that man in the game. Tavon Austin, really, really fast. But at this stage, he's not A tier. He's a B tier wide receiver. Was good for his time, but not anymore. Tebow, F tier. The worst quarterback maybe on this list. Tet, still really good, B tier. Problem with Tet is, we just got so many good wide receivers. And I know I've said it before, but look at all the talent at the wide receiver position. Deshaun Jackson, Megwood, Trey Harris, Justin Jefferson, Colin Lacey, Reggie Wayne, Ryan Williams, the free grinds, Tavon Austin, Luther Burden, Herman Moore, Tet. Like, you've got all of these cards, Amari Cooper. It's just so hard to crack that top level. Travis Hunter, throwing him right there with Quincy Riley. I will say I do like Quincy Riley more than Travis Hunter. Both cards are extremely good, though. Vernon Davis, man, he's at the top of A tier. Close to S tier. One thing I'll tell you guys I'm worried about for Vernon Davis is another tight end coming out soon, because I feel like tight end's a position We haven't really seen those elite level cards, and eventually we are going to. I don't know when, but when that time does come, Vernon Davis will lose a lot of value. Will Johnson, at this stage, Will Johnson is an absolute beast still. I'm going to go B tier at the cornerback position. Do think he's slightly better than a guy like Aiden Garnes. Hunter Wohler, he's fine. Not as good as Ed Reed, though. So I'm going to go C tier for Hunter Wohler. I have the card BND version. He's good. He is just not the same level as a guy like Ed Reed. Zane Gonzalez, another kicker. And because Shipley is better than you, I guess I'll throw Shipley to D tier. But if you're buying a kicker at this stage, I don't know if I can honestly help you. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just genuinely the truth. That's going to wrap it up for our tier list today, guys. Ranked a ton of players. Let me know who I was too high on, too low on, who I got right. Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.